In this installment of the Being the Best Bronco series, student assistants from the Office for Multicultural Learning are working in collaboration with off-campus housing to give you a little bit more information about the impacts of cultural appropriation on Santa Clara campus, as well as what you can do to be a better Bronco when you are confronted with these situations. So first, a quick rundown of exactly who's who, because I know this could be confusing for incoming students. So we, at the Office for Multicultural Learning, function in partnership with the Rainbow Resource Center. We are both staff and faculty-led offices on campus with student assistants running programming. So the Office for Multicultural Learning has a relationship with the Multicultural Center, as well as the Rainbow Resource Center does, which we have a relationship that functions to advise and collaborate with them on various programs. And the Multicultural Center is a student-led organization on campus. So first, to break down why exactly cultural appropriation is a problem, firstly, it trivializes violent historical oppression faced by marginalized communities of color. Secondly, cultural appropriation allows for people to show quote-unquote love for a culture, but still remain prejudiced against its people. Third, cultural appropriation spreads mass lies about these marginalized cultures, and it perpetuates racial stereotypes. And lastly, cultural appropriation allows privileged people to profit from oppressed people's labor. In this slide and the accompanying infographic, we're going to talk a little bit about the impacts of cultural appropriation, and hopefully this can help you learn the difference between these types of incidents and how one possibly might motivate others. So starting at the bottom of this pyramid, we have microaggressions, which are defined as brief everyday exchanges that send denigrating messages to an individual of a target group. In effect, this makes people feel singled out for their cultural identity, whether or not it was an intentional effect. Moving up to bias incidents, which are often motivated by microaggressions. Bias incidents are defined as any speech, act, or harassing action that targets, threatens, or attacks an individual or group because of their actual or perceived status protected by law. This can refer to any type of discriminatory practice or strategic non-inclusion that demonstrates bias towards a certain cultural identity. And lastly, at the top of this pyramid, we have hate crimes, which are definable crimes such as threats of violence, property damage, personal injury, and other illegal conduct. Now, these are serious and dangerous incidents that have clear legal repercussions and can have serious life impacts on an individual.
So now that we had a moment to talk about the differences between hate crimes, bias incidents, and microaggressions, let's talk now a little bit about how cultural appropriation is manifested in these with themed parties around Halloween time and stuff like that. So at your next themed party, it's important to ask yourself, 1, what culture does the style reference and what's my relation to that culture? 2, why am I wearing it? 3, who's selling this product? 4, how accurate and respectful is it to the source? And although I'm not going to go into detail about all 4 of these questions, I mainly only just wanted to focus on question 2, why am I wearing it? I think this is oftentimes brought up when we're talking about cultural appropriation. Just because your intentions or your intent was not to be disrespectful or was not to be malicious, and you're just, again, as Gabby mentioned previously, and you're just trying to show love for that culture, does not take away from the fact that you are taking part in promoting oppressive actions or discriminatory behaviors and stereotypes. And just because you're not trying to be disrespectful does not take away from the fact that you are culturally appropriating. And in general, if you don't know the answers to these questions, or if when answered honestly they reveal historical, racial, political, and or religious implications, it's best to simply move on without the items. Remember, culture is not a costume. So let's now talk about the unintentional consequences that this has for SU's community. So I'm going to group together 1, 2, and 3. So closed parties and assuming students of color are not SCU students. 2, skewed perceptions of communities of color, culture, and value. 3, lack of BIPOC representation in off-campus community. And 4, perpetuation of harmful and limiting stereotypes. So I wanted to group together 1, 2, and 3 just because in my mind they kind of make like a never-ending cycle in a sense that if there is a predominantly white house, let's say, or party, that where they feel comfortable culturally appropriating and promoting racist behaviors, it's more likely that these same events will have less BIPOC representation. And because of that, if the time comes that there is a group of BIPOC students that want to attend a closed party, it's likely that they might encounter a little bit more resistance, and thus perpetuating these feelings of exclusion. And then number 4, I guess this is kind of overlooking this entire cycle from the perspective of the affected people. So perpetuation of harmful and limiting stereotypes. If you were a person that, claims to be an ally or kind of sits to the side when you see your friends culturally appropriating or saying offensive things, just think about how those words or actions are impacting individual people, if not so much the entire culture. Think about how that would make you feel if you were hearing someone talk down or make fun of, the culture that you were raised to love and embrace. I think this is really important to consider because oftentimes it's easy to just have fun and say that you are just showing love for the culture and it's not that serious. But remember, just because it's not impacting you does not mean it's not serious and extremely harmful for others. So, what can you do? If you're a person that simply wants to educate yourself, we highly encourage you to just come visit and learn more about what you can do to be a better ally for BIPOC communities. So the 3 offices that we already talked about previously are the Office for Multicultural Learning, the Rainbow Resource Center, and the Multicultural Center. So we encourage you to come on down and ask us any questions that you have, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you about this.